What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you guys how I made these teacup planters. So this is a creamer pitcher with the air plant in here, and this is a fuzzy Jew inside the teacup. These are great if you have a smaller area to work with, if you don't have a lot of space, or if you just like compact plants. They're so easy to grow and so easy to make as well.
So here are some supplies that you'll need. First, you'll need to have planters. So I got these from the thrift store. This is a creamer pitcher, and then the other one is a teacup. They don't have the same design, but that's totally okay because I think they still go together. They're very colorful and they have that gold ring on the top, which kind of ties everything together. And these don't have drainage holes in them because they're not used as planters, but they're still going to be really perfect for this look. Next up, bust out some of that soil that you have. This one is just simple soil. There's nothing in there, no fertilizer, no nothing. You'll also need some sand. I have playground sand that I just got at the Home Depot. They come in a huge bag for a very low price, but you can also get a smaller bag at Home Depot as well, and you can also get them in the craft area at Walmart and Target or at the Dollar Tree. While you're at Dollar Tree or Walmart, also grab some of those rocks that they have in the craft area. You can also grab them from your backyard. I bet a lot of you guys already have this lying around. You can choose different types of rocks if you like. And make sure that you have something to plant. So I have my wandering Jew here. This is the fuzzy wuzzy type. They're really not called the fuzzy wuzzy type, by the way, but that's just how I name them. There are different types of plants that you can use as well. House plants, basically like anything that are small so then they can fit inside your planter. I'm going to be using two different types of plant. This is an air plant, and this one is just really neat because they don't really need to be potted into the soil. They actually don't need soil at all, but I'm going to put them with their little roots sitting on top of the soil anyway. The roots are there just to attach to anything that they're sitting next to. They're not really used to get water. The actual plant is what is going to absorb all the nutrients and water.
Okay, so let's get started. I have my creamer pitcher and my teacup, and these guys have different size openings up on top. This one has a smaller opening and this one has a very large opening. What I'm going to do is I think I will put the air plant in the creamer pitcher. The reason why is because this opening here fits pretty perfectly over this air plant. The air plant is pretty big already, and I anticipate that later on, if it's healthy, it's going to make a lot of pups and it's going to get bigger. There is still room for the plant to go in and out, so then that way if the plant needs to be removed to be watered, it can be removed. The air plant does not need to be potted straight into the soil, so they can just sit pretty much like this. But what I'm going to do is just fill this inside up just to make sure that it has something to sit on, so then that way it doesn't kind of like fall into it. Do you see that? Like if you kind of slightly push it in, it'll go in, and I don't want that. I want it to sit pretty much up on top. For the teacup, this one has a super huge opening, and I think this would be perfect for this plant here. The reason why is this plant not only grows longer, but it also grows bushier. So when I plant this node or these two nodes into the soil, it's going to grow more plants on the side from this node. That's why it's important to have a larger area so the plant can grow bushier. If I have the pitcher creamer, or the creamer pitcher, I'm sorry, If I put it into the creamer pitcher, there's just not going to be enough space for it. With the air plant, it's a little bit different because the air plant can actually be removed from the creamer pitcher. So then it doesn't necessarily have to stay in here forever. With these types of pots, it's important to note that there's no drainage hole. So whatever that I put into here, like water or fertilizer or whatever, is going to stay in there. So I'm going to build sort of like a pot where water can stay at the bottom and still not rot the plant. I'm going to show you guys how to mix the soil. So I have the soil here and I have the sand here. I'm going to pour quite a bit of sand in here. And then I'm going to go in with my hands and mix it up. And you can wear gloves for this if you have really nice hands. But I have really ugly hands, so I don't really care. I should wear gloves though. You can use perlite instead of sand. The reason why I didn't use perlite is because my perlite actually has fertilizer already in there, and I don't want to put like an extremely high amount of fertilizer in there. I want to be able to control the amount of fertilizer, so that's why I'm using sand, because there's no fertilizer in there, and then I'm going to put in my own fertilizer. So I mixed it up, and I think it is about like a quarter sand with 3/4 part of soil. I still have some sand left, which I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to put sand in the bottom of the pot, or in the bottom of the teacup. About 1/2 inch. The reason why I'm putting sand in here is because this pot doesn't have any drainage, or this teacup doesn't have any drainage. So when I put in any sort of water, the water is going to soak into the soil, and whatever's left is probably going to sit at the bottom. It can't be drained out. I think it's just important to have a bit of sand at the bottom, so that way whatever water sits at the bottom is just going to sit in the sand versus sitting in the soil, which will probably rot the plant if there's just too much water. And this way the sand will just kind of hold that water, and then the water will get slowly whipped upwards towards the soil, and it will just kind of control the water a little bit instead of having just too much water at the bottom if there's just soil. I'm going to do the same for the little creamer right here, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all sand in here. All the sand goes in here, because what's great about the air plant is it doesn't need any soil. It's an air plant. It's just going to sit right on top of the sand. It's just a beautiful way to create like a planter for your air plants, because it's just so cool, right? This is super easy, and you can also put in rocks at the bottom as well. This is just something that you can do. You can add different types of rocks. You can add the white rocks, you can add glass, you can add any sort of there's also shell that you can add too, just to make it kind of like an ocean theme. For the teacup, with a little bit of the sand at the bottom, I'm just going to fill it up with the soil. So here's the soil, and I'm just going to fill that up. I'm going to press it down just a little bit, but not too firmly. So I still have about 1/2 inch left before I reach the top. I'm just going to leave it like that, and then I'm just going to stick my finger in there to make a hole for it. 2 holes. I'm going to plant this straight in there. What you want to make sure you do is you want to have at least one of that node where the leaf is coming out, to be under the soil. that's where the roots are going to come out. So that part needs to be completely in the soil. Even if it's just maybe a quarter of an inch down, you still need it to be below the soil line. So I'm going to stick this one in there as well. And see like how I cut it? The cut is very close to the node. That's what you want. Like if you have it like the stem here super long, you're going to have to stick that entire piece under the soil. And that's so deep that if there's water just sitting at the bottom, it's going to rot the plant. So that's what you don't want to do. Just cut it pretty much about 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch down and stick that part into the soil as well. And then just cover it up a little bit. Press semi-firmly, not too firm, just to keep the plant there. I have just enough room for the rocks, so I'm going to put the rocks up on top. I'm going to place the rock pretty nicely and choose like which rock I want to go where. Choose flat rocks because flat rocks just look better. They're not like bulky. I like to add rocks to the top part of my plant because I like to elevate the plant just a little bit, and the rocks also help to stabilize it because every time you place the rock on there, you press it down just a little bit, it stabilizes your plant. And it just makes everything look nicer. It's kind of like a Zen garden, but this is just a teapot garden. Anything that just kind of covers the top part of it just looks a little bit nicer than just soil. But it's definitely a preference. It's not really a requirement. So that's what it looks like. And for this one, it's just going to look like this. This is super easy. I don't think I did any work with this one at all, but you can see just how pretty it looks. Really simple, so easy to do, and like you can pretty much plant anything in here. What you have to remember though is that these guys, they don't have a lot of space to grow, so they're not going to be huge plant. It's kind of like bonsai in a way, where you're limiting the amount of soil and fertilizer it has, and if it doesn't have enough space, it's just going to be like a dwarf plant. And that is true for a lot of living things, is when you're limiting its ability to grow, it's just going to stay small forever.
Here's what they look like after I was finished. They look so awesome and very classy. They add such elegance to a room. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I'll see you guys next time.